I was invited to speak on the Doctor's TV show, which is a national TV show with millions of viewers, just after the IARC determined that glyphosate caused cancer. And I was asked if I could debate the Monsanto toxicologist, Donna Farmer. Now, Monsanto has a long-term policy of never debating me. In fact, they won't even be on the same stage, and sometimes they won't even appear on the same conference. So the last time I was on Dr. Oz, I was speaking with a doctor, interviewed by Dr. Oz, and then he turned to the camera and said, "We're going to do something that we've never done before. Jeffrey Smith is so controversial that the other side will not appear on stage with him. So we're going to ask them to leave, and then we're going to interview a scientist who's going to defend Roundup." So we left and went to the green room and watched her give lie after lie after lie after lie. And it was so obvious why she didn't want us on stage, because we would have pointed out that everything she said was false. And they had to do what was called a pickup because something didn't get recorded right. So they gave us a chance to answer one question again. And so we knew what she had said after we spoke, because it would be edited into the part before she spoke. And so we got a chance to give the truth about something that she was lying about. And that got them so angry. They wrote letters saying, "You did this on purpose. You're working with Jeffrey Smith. You're biased." And it was totally not true. In fact, they attacked me. They try and do an entire, detective work on me, private detective investigation. And all they could find out was that I like to dance and that I meditate. And while I was writing my book, Seeds of Deception, I was teaching people in my town how to swing dance. So they go, "Oh, now we have the angle. He's a dance teacher." And so when they tried to do a hit piece in the New Yorker against Dr. Oz, then one of their paid people, Bruce Chassey, who has received a lot of money to try and go after me, said basically, that, and one of the reasons why we can't trust Dr. Oz is he had dance teacher Jeffrey Smith on, who's just a meditation teacher, and it's like, this is what they get. This is how far they go. So I was on TV. Donna got the last word. And she said, "I mean this very honestly." She was obviously had media training over and over again and had practiced all these lines. And smiling, and she had the media training is very important for the people in Monsanto. Years and years of it. "I mean this very honestly. I am extremely highly confident that this product, as a mom, and I could back it, confident in this product as a mom, and I could back it up as a scientist." So then, when the scientists, when the lawyers got all these millions of documents and posted many of them on the website, I searched under Donna Farmer's name and found that in private she wasn't so confident. And I called the producers of the doctors and I said, "Guess what? We have evidence that Donna Farmer wasn't being honest." And so I sent them the quotes. And I said, "I'd also like to introduce you to an attorney, Brent Wisner, and a plaintiff that he's representing, so we can have a full package." They said, "Yeah, send it to me." And I said to her, "How much time do you think you'll be donating or dedicating to this segment of a rebuttal?" And she said, "Maybe 3 or 4 minutes." So by the time I got on, they did something that was probably the first time ever in the show, before or since. They dedicated an entire episode of 1 hour on the Monsanto cancer thing. Had me on it, had Brent Wisner on it, had the plaintiff on it, and we kicked butt. They invited Donna, but Donna Farmer refused. Monsanto sent a 2-paragraph explanation, which read over the air. And so we totally won the audience over with that one. Some examples of what Donna Farmer said in private to another Monsanto person. "You cannot say that Roundup is not a carcinogen. We have not done the necessary testing on the formulation to make that statement. William Hayden's, in an email to Donna Farmer, says, we're in pretty good shape with glyphosate, but vulnerable on the surfactants. That glyphosate is okay, but the formulated product, which is Roundup, and thus the surfactant, does the damage. Whoops. And William Hayden's to Donna as well. The surfactant of the formulation will come up in the tumor promotion skin study because we think it played a role there. In other words, promoting tumors. There was one study where they put Roundup on the shaved skin of rodents, and 40% of them got tumors, and none of the control groups. And then another one. Terry, Donna, and I reviewed the mortality data. It's not outside the realm of possibilities that the 3 deaths were treatment-related. And then you could see that she was given an article to ghostwrite, and she went and edited. You could see where she struck things out. Here's a perfect sentence. Instead of saying, overall, although the results are suggestive, they fail to demonstrate a significant association of glyphosate exposure with the risk of spontaneous abortion, miscarriage. And it now appears, after her edit, overall the results fail to demonstrate a significant association. So she took out that the results are suggestive. And then she took her name off the paper and Monsanto's name off the paper after contributing. And that's how it got published. So this was gold. To get millions of pages like this was absolutely fantastic. And they talked about the full formulation, and they were given all sorts of suggestions from Dr. Parry to do studies on the full formulation. And they did a little study on absorption ability. And they take cadavers, and they put it on the cadaver, and it was getting in there about 10%, which is 3.3 times the allowable level. And so they said it could blow the Roundup risk evaluation. And they're getting a much higher dermal penetration than we've ever seen before because of those surfactants. And then we have another email that says, we dropped the program for glyphosate evaluation of the absorption, including the surfactants, because a further study was not likely to help us meet the project objective was to get it approved. If they had turned over the data to the EPA about what they got, it would not have been approved. So they just stopped doing further research studies. And in this third trial, a toxicologist who had studied it dropped the bombshell. They did, in fact, turn over absorption studies to the EPA. They took cadaver skin and they cut it out and they baked it in an oven, then they froze it. Then they put Roundup on it and hardly anything got absorbed, and that's what they reported. I loved these things. To me, this is gold for an activist. I remember talking to Dr. Arpad Pustai. I hadn't published my book yet. And I read somewhere else that he was burglarized and his research notes were stolen. Now, I had interviewed him longer than anyone else in the world for hours and hours. I passed everything that I had written back to him to make sure it was accurate. I called him up and said, Arpad, you didn't tell me you were burglarized. He said, I didn't think it was important. I said, Arpad, this is great news. Because these are the kind of stories that tell you who we're dealing with and why we cannot trust them with anything, especially our children.